Are you proud of your $250,000 fortune at the age of 45? You probably feel like you're doing everything right. You have a stable job, a suburban house, and a little savings. Great. Now try taking that house deed to a Kroger to buy a loaf of bread for your child and see if the cashier will accept it. The answer is no. They don't sell bread to silent plaster walls. Welcome to the greatest scam of the 21st century, where the elite use mathematics to convince you that you're getting richer, while in reality, you're dwindling every day. Recently, mainstream media has been hyping up a sensational headline. The average American between the ages of 45 and 54 has a net worth of nearly $1 million, specifically $975,800. Hearing this number, millions of people looked at their bank accounts and panicked. You think you're a failure. You think all your friends are secretly rich and you're the only one struggling with bills. But what's the truth? The truth is, nobody is secretly rich. The media is playing a trick on the average. When calculating the average, they add up everyone's assets and divide by 2. If you put Jeff Bezos and 9 homeless people in one room, the average wealth of that room would be $21 billion. But in reality, 9 people are still starving. That's exactly how financial reports are shoving you into the same room as the super rich to cover up a systemic disaster. If we strip away that manipulation and look at the median, that is, the person in the middle of society, the actual net worth of a 45-year-old is a mere $247,200. Not $1 million. Not even close to $1 million. That enormous gap of $728,000 is the hidden truth. But even that $247,000 is a perfect trap. You hear about $250,000 and you breathe a sigh of relief. Don't celebrate too soon. Open your banking app. Subtract all your debt. And most importantly, look deep into your asset structure. 70% of today's middle-class wealth is essentially just lifeless concrete blocks. That's home equity. We've been brainwashed since childhood that buying a house is the best way to accumulate wealth. That might have been true 30 years ago. But today, it's a velvet handcuff. Let's say, of your $247,000 in assets, $160,000 is tied up in the house. You're left with only $87,000 for everything else. Retirement fund, emergency fund, children's education. It all fits into that meager amount. And here's the bitterest part. You can't eat home equity. You can't pay your electricity bill with home equity. When inflation hits, when gas prices skyrocket to $4 a gallon, your huge paper fortune becomes completely useless. If you want to convert that asset into cash for survival, the banking system will flash you a friendly smile and corner you with 3 bloody options. Option 1, sell your house. Logical, but where will you live after you sell it? You'll have to rush back into the market and buy another house at an exorbitant price during this bubble. Option 2, refinance. Congratulations! You've just extended your debt sentence by another 30 years, paid tens of thousands of dollars in closing fees, and committed to being a bank slave until you're 78. Option 3, the one that bogus financial experts are urging you to do every day, is take out a mortgage. You mortgage your house to borrow money at a ridiculously high 9% interest rate. Do you see the irony here? The bank is charging 9% to lend you back your own money. It's a perfectly exploitative business model, stripping the masses of their assets without firing a single bullet. And if you thought that concrete block of plaster was the only bad news, buckle up. Because we're entering the real debt bomb of middle age. The generation currently in their 40s is carrying the heaviest debt in American history. According to data from Experian, the average person in this generation is burdened with over $158,000 in debt. They have the highest credit card balances of any age group, averaging nearly $10,000. With current credit card interest rates hovering above 21%, that debt is ballooning faster than any investment portfolio or retirement fund you can imagine. Read that sentence again to see the gravity of the situation. Credit card interest rates are growing faster than your retirement account. That means you're taking a step backward on the financial ladder, even though you're working hard every day. That's a harsh truth. But it doesn't stop there. There's an invisible debt that the media rarely mentions. Student debt for parents, or Parent Plus. 1 in 10 people in this age group is paying off student loans, not for themselves, but for their children. Middle-class parents are taking out loans at 9.08% interest, plus 4.2% origination fees, just to try and give their children a college degree in the hope of a better life. That's a horrific level of financial violence the education system is inflicting on the working class. You can't refinance them. You don't qualify for most government debt relief programs. That debt just sits there, compounding, eroding the assets of parents trying to do the right thing. Meanwhile, their retirement funds are barely surviving at a median of $62,000. Why is this happening? Why are the hardest working people at the peak of their careers running out of steam? The answer lies in a term that perfectly reflects this suffocating reality. They call it the sandwich generation. More than 54% of Americans in their 40s are simultaneously supporting elderly parents and raising adult children. Look at the real picture to see how cruel this system is. You have a 74-year-old mother in nursing home with dementia, costing $6,200 a month. Medicare doesn't cover that. You and your siblings have to share the burden. At the same time, your 24-year-old son just graduated from college, is heavily in debt, can't find a job, and has to move in with you. You don't collect rent. You're paying for 3 generations at once from a single income source that's being eroded by inflation. Maximizing your retirement fund is structurally impossible when you have to write checks for nursing homes and pay for the meals of a 24-year-old unemployed person. You don't get poorer because you're lazy or wasteful. You're being cannibalized from both ends. Moreover, you're a victim of generational bad luck. Remember the decade of crazy money printing from 2012 to 2022? Interest rates were zero, the stock market was booming, and house prices were skyrocketing. If you were 65 then, you owned assets and benefited from it. But if you were 35 in 2012, you had just survived the 2008 global financial crisis. You had no capital. You struggled to rebuild from scratch. And by the time you had accumulated enough money to enter the game in 2019, the easy money door had slammed shut forever. The price of everything had tripled. You missed the biggest quantitative easing train in human history. That's why what most 45-year-olds are secretly hoping will save them is the cruelest lie in the whole story, the dream of the great wealth transfer. You've certainly read those big-name articles saying the baby boomer generation is about to pass on $84 trillion to their children. If you're lagging behind, it's tempting to tell yourself, it's okay, just wait. I'll inherit some money eventually. Let me throw cold water on that dream. 68% of that enormous wealth comes from families with over $1 million in assets, which is only 7% of the population. The wealth transfer is real, but it's extremely concentrated. It only flows from the rich to the already rich. And for the median American, the average inheritance from the bottom half of the wealth pyramid is only $9,700. You heard that right? $9,700. That's not wealth accumulated over generations. That's the value of a beat-up old Toyota with a red engine light, the kind you use for ride-hailing to earn extra income on weekends. And we haven't even factored in end-of-life medical expenses. The nursing home industry has meticulously calculated how to strip away all the fat. The average end-of-life care cost is about $137,000 per person. Before any inheritance even leaves your parents' estate, a huge portion is already swallowed up by the healthcare system. Every month your mother is in nursing home, your inheritance evaporates another $6,200. The healthcare and nursing home industries have been planning to steal every penny from previous generations for decades. Salvation will never fall from the sky or come through a will. So where exactly do you stand in this dire situation? The Social Security Fund, the last lifeline provided by the government, is also severely damaged. Reports from the Social Security Commissioners predict that the fund will be depleted by 2035. They won't abolish it, but payments will be automatically cut by 23%. If you were born in 1965, you would have reached full retirement age in 2032. You just reached the finish line, and 3 years later, the system would crash into a wall. This isn't a coincidence. It's the design of a system collapsing under the weight of demographics and weak macroeconomic management. But this is not the time to despair or give up. I didn't make this video to say you're finished. I made this video to wake you up, to make you stop hoping for the illusions of the media and start acting with the ruthlessness of a survivor. You still have a secret weapon that the system can't take away if you know how to use it. That's a final 20-year time window. The compound interest window from age 45 to 65. The math is tight, but not hopeless. If you can cut unnecessary expenses, stop bleeding money into high-interest consumer debt, and start pumping $700 a month into your retirement fund starting next Monday morning. With an average return of 7% a year, that small decision will turn into nearly $380,000 by the time you retire. That's not the money to live lavishly on a private yacht, but it's the fine line between genuine safety and having to collect bottles at the age of 70. Don't let the media's deception discourage you. The worst thing you can do right now is give up thinking it's too late. The race is still on. You just need to stop fantasizing that the finish line will stand still waiting for you. Wake up, optimize your cash flow, break free from the illusory assets of real estate, and save yourself from this maze. If you want to stay constantly updated on the harshest macroeconomic truths, the secrets that the financial elite never want you to know, subscribe to the Ron Invest channel now. I'm Ron Invests, and this is where we expose lies to protect our own wallets. Share this video with your struggling friends. See you in the next video.